Ensite Circle people, welcome. We're going to go through a couple basic spreads, and I would just have you choose one and complete it. Since we're no longer dealing with a new moon, we're now in the early waxing stages. We're getting really close to Taurus. We're still quite a ways off the full moon. So as far as a particular theme, we're in transition. We're in a transition in which our will is already put into the grindstone. We've already been working at it. We already have our hopes and dreams in mind, and we're getting to an area where we're starting to need fuel. We're needing support. And however we can do that, or however that be accomplished, or what obstacles, that would be a great one to do a lot of focus on at this time. But I'm going to leave it a fairly open spread, so for those of you that are asking, I'm going to ask that you watch the video. Anyway, so some of our first ever taught type spreads aren't really spreads. So we're going to go really slow. A single card. As you place it down, there's a lot of care into thinking about what it is that you're wanting to know. Because in a single card, you have to do almost a meditation. So I wasn't thinking about this card, but I'm going to act like it was about exactly what we were talking about. I have hopes and dreams that I've been working on, trying to manifest. What is that thing? Now, if we're not talking in my personal practice, and we'll just go with, in single cards, usually getting a reverse is not you just don't read it as reversed, because unless there's something significant and it feels really necessary, it's just either telling you this isn't the card for you, or that this is the thing, but you're needing to think at it from a different angle. There's lots of different ways, but let's just keep it simple and keep to the card, and it's even pointed the direction that we need to exhibit it. So here in 7 Pentacles, the card says failure. What do you see? She's drawing a spiral in the sand. Is it really a failure? She kind of messed up, I think, didn't she? Got the spiral a little too close? Is it a learning experience? Well, one way we can break this down by the code is we go with the fact that it is the 7, the number 7, and this corresponds to the sphere of Venus. What do I mean by that? Well, again, that tree of life has 10 spheres, or 10 sephirots. And all that means is that there's different layers of human experience, or spiritual experience. In this case, it's referring to that place of emotions and our consciousness that deals with things that are not, they're creative, they're inspirational. It's the poorly worded right brain type stuff. But this is an earth, and earth doesn't deal with things so moist, using alchemical terms. Earth can be very creative, but it's more the subject of creativity. It's more the agent to which creativity is acted on, so it doesn't do very well. So seeing it from the perspective of Earth, it's going through a period in which it's awkwardly having to go from a period of establishing itself in 6 to something that is not very suited for, which is, or I should say not suited for being very pretty. I've seen a lot of these refer more to having discernment or being very selective. So we could see this at a point in which we're having to do a lot of weeding, and so there's a crap ton of work. So there's a lot of loss. I wanted to make this rather short, but it looks like it's going to be rather long again. So in shuffling, there's all sorts of different shuffles. There's where you're not actually shuffling, you're just reorganizing. So just a real slow, I'm taking off a section of the deck, taking another section off, and then I'm just swapping them around. There's the back and forth. I'm putting cards in front and back. There is the cut and parse. I don't know the terms. You'll have to talk to somebody who likes poker shuffling a bit more. I just do a mixture of things. Alright, the next one that we usually do is we usually have the 3-card spread. Look familiar? Well, in this case, doing it hastily like this, we do something a bit more akin to past, present, and future. So we're going to kind of pretend like that's it. Now, some people, again, go with, oh, well, there's no such thing as reverse. Some people are very stickler that reverses mean everything. And who is this being read? So if I was reading to someone else, the Hermit and the 7 of Swords are both upright, whereas the Lovers is not. If I was reading it, it'd be the other way around. In this case, I'm going to say that I'm one of those people that reversed in this, it's still too simple, it's still too soon. So it's just going to be, and some people will then say, well, maybe reverse does have a meaning, it's just not a meaning to the card specific, and more about the symmetry. I'm really big about symmetry. So we have a really great balance of symmetry, referring to the past and the future being very, very connected. Whereas this center card here, representing the present, is the only one of its kind, meaning that there's this big focus in here. Now, looking at it for myself, what it then means is that I'm bringing things together right now. There's this unifying. Also, it's rather interesting that it's a bit of the code. One of the archetypes in this is about Gemini, about the twins coming together. It's a little more romantic in the way they put it. But what does that mean? Well, we have the moon that is going to be very shortly going through the sign of Gemini. So that's really neat. Then we have the symmetry. The past is referring to being alone in the work, but it's a personal cultivation. So it's a very introspective and self-perfecting, but also in an idea that you're serving other people. And here they have a sannyasin, a very Hindu kind of situation. I don't know what mantra that is. It's a very long one. That's actually probably a shloka or a stutum. I don't remember. Prayers and hymns. But yeah, very clearly, I love that om, the primal sound. Anyway, here the sannyasin, or the monk, in this case, this is a very specific type that is referred to as a sadhu. The sadhu are the ones that are by themselves. They're not part of an adinam, not part of a monastery. They go wandering about. And sometimes they have little ritual reliquary things representing their accomplishments, their level of attainment. And to break down the symbolism, we're just to have too much time. It's mingling stuff west and east, and I love this deck for that. But in this case, it's just like, it's bringing more of the mystical qualities. This is the mystic. Now in the future, this is kind of something that's not really nice, is it? Seven of Swords. It says futility. Well, why Seven of Swords? Well, in an Aries situation, the creativity can get way out of hand, and air is a very mental sort of thing, so it is creative, but it ends up making too many possibilities, so it's really hard to keep track of everything. Your brain's making dreams of all sorts of stuff, but it seems pretty positive overall. Here's the spin how. So here in the past, doing the work, having the discipline that you need, bringing things together in wholeness. It's not going to, this sounds way too, like, why would it do this? Well, it's that it's hard to decide. The future is very hard to see. And in this present moment where things are coming together, there's a decisive whatever's being chosen. It's kind of like a contract. Whatever is being decided here, whatever is being agreed upon by the two parts being brought together, that is going to decide the future. So the discipline that you put forward in the past is going to give a key to the future, but it's still going to be hard because there's another half to the whole key, whoever else is the other part of it. So we can even put a definition card out, and this may be the other person. So this person that is very much earthy, or perhaps, like in this case, we went back to that code. This is the water of earth. So this is a kind of a nurturing person. So I would really get into trying to figure out, well, who is this? Who does this represent? Because in the Seven of Swords, they may be the one making it hard. So that's a good example of that. And we'll do one more, and then we'll kind of wrap up. So as far as a discussion surrounding these things, as far as a theme, again, we're at a point in which you're having to start to think about what it is, your needs and your ability to feed. Those little sprouts that you planted. Because now it's not about your will either, it's about circumstance too. Now, there's a certain thing that people love to do, is that they'll sit there and there's some tarot people that will just keep going, shuffling, until, I'll try to make it purposely happen. Something like that happens. Probably not. This is way big. Actually, this is good. Let's work with that, right? I don't like doing it because I have a hard time. I want to hold on to the cards, so. Alright. So if we were first card in the middle. This is going to be the Celtic Crossroad. Kind of a simplified one at first, and then we'll put on some of the stronger cards. So, and I have this facing me, so and we have limited space, so I'm going to kind of splay it out and overlap them. But they're supposed to be kind of spread out. Alright, so in the middle part here is both the present, but this is also the situation that we're in. Past and future also can be a matter of pros, things supporting, and cons, things that are challenging. Then we can have things that are successes or things that are the outcome, and there are things that are the failures or the challenges. And if we already have this as a challenge, this would be the things that we kind of, oops, we couldn't really fix. Well, right away, symmetry says this is the only one. Now, here we've got enough cards. This could be a situation where, hey, we might need to find whether or not our reverses mean anything. Do we honor reverses? Nope. And I'm not purposely thinking and going like this. I'm letting the muscles, and there's this kind of movement that's just a subtle thing that starts to get the pendulum going. And you just let your body answer the question, not you. So, really quick, breaking it down. Alright, so if instead of going with another past, present, and future, we were going with supporting and challenging, and then end result and failures in the current situation. So with the King of Cups, this brings me more to where I could be. This could be me, or in this case, if we're reading for you, this could be you. Very emotionally not in control, but very capable of dealing with your own self and all the emotions that are packed up therein. Usually, like the Knight of the Holy Grail is one of the particular things. We're going to ignore that crab that's in there and just look at it as the fact that this is someone that is very comfortable working with their emotions, very emotionally intelligent, and able to find balance, and is very capable navigating their emotions. So in this situation, something that's going for us, or for you, is the fact that you've got more than plenty. You have friends, but you also have these other feelings, good memories, happy memories. Well, there could be something based on other cards. There could be an aspect of this that also shows that you've taken something for granted. Over here, with the challenging part, with the Ten of Cups, that's very interesting. That should be more supporting. But if we kind of think for a moment that for perhaps what it is, again, is what I hinted over here, where you have maybe a little too much. Everything's fulfilled, or not fulfilled, but you have so much abundance emotionally and on the relationship-wise that perhaps there's something that you've taken for granted. It's hard to appreciate it. It's hard to appreciate a single glass of wine when you've got a whole bottle that you've been going on. It's kind of one way. So what you may be leaving behind is that you're just taking too long. So the Eight of Wands, it's about swiftness, agility. Might not be articulating that too much. And that's actually kind of a fire element out of a whole water element. So we see kind of an anchor point here we see a lamp, single flame, like a memorial to not moving fast enough. And the end result is that you have to kind of walk away from something. In order to have things from going toxic, or to keep from being buried by your sorrow, you walk away. Or that you're just fed up, or maybe perhaps you just didn't see what was there and you walked away from it completely and burned your bridges as far as emotionally. This could be a relationship, this could be anything, so context is everything. Now, some of the first decks that I had, they would add a card here they would then put the past, present, and future, and this would be the challenge. And then this would be the stuff that you got right, the stuff that you got wrong. And there would be a outside support. There'd be the hidden meaning of a thing. There would be dangers that you're having to overcome or variants thereof, and then the final result would be here. So let's just take that really quick as we are running out of precious time. So here the challenge then would be maybe a person. Maybe there's a lot of competition, a princess and a knight. They would probably be very manic or very very, very passionate and be willing to burn everything down to do what they're impassioned with. Here with Five of Pentacles would be getting support. Well, how does worry support? Another way to look at this, because usually fives are a great deal of difficulty. In this, it could be that through the adversity of a particular poorly funded situation. I don't know. So here would be the advice. Two of Swords. Finding meditation. And then some of the difficulty. Ten of Swords. Took on too much. Took on too much and was defeated. Or another way of looking at that is that you just fears got the better of you, but the outcome is the King of Pentacles. So if you started off the King of Cups, it means that in the end, especially if this was a relationship, that would be a definite end to the relationship. But you're kind of now slow and steady, just one foot in front of the other type. But so yeah, those are three very common modes that we get on with doing card reading. If you have any questions, feel free to email them to me, go to our forums, perhaps even just put it in the comments. I'd love to hear it. So I'm going to put this out there for everyone. As a card reading. And I'm going to do another method, which, because on this wood it's not doing too hot. Usually you want something that has a little grip to it. So if you have a carpet on the floor, I didn't want to do it on my floor because I haven't vacuumed for a while, so. I'm going to pick 3 cards out with a pendulum. And I'm also kind of getting this feel like where it's at depth-wise, too. So I've got my 3 cards. Notice the symmetry. For me, there's absolutely no reverse. So it means that there's a very clear path. This is not something in which there's different modalities. There's not a play. It's all one straight line. This does feel like a past, present, future, but this also has to deal with the same theme. So these are different unfoldings of the same theme. With the Emperor card, we're dealing with will, just like with Aries. And with the Four of Wands, we are dealing with a new phase, a new situation, initiation into a new level, a new turn in that very still fiery category of life. So for some of you, that may mean that you've had to stand up for yourself, and that's gotten you into a new, that's upped your game, that's made you more, that's gotten you either up in rank, or, or that's gotten you into a situation where you've kind of matured in an area, or breaking new ground even. But this, what would be kind of an end result, is that you found balance. And especially if in concepts, that what this could also be is that you've asserted yourself, it's put you into a place that you're at peace. It's a little reductionist, but if we were looking at this as one fluid theme, it's that starting off with needing to be more, and I say this hesitantly because not everybody needs masculinity in their life. So think of it in a very symbolic sense of masculinity. Needing to put a lot of will into something. And that in all of this, just like with our Aries stuff, you're having to come to a goal. So once you get past a certain point of completion, just like you would with farming, you get to a certain point and then you rest, you wait. Well, this isn't that kind of wait. I would usually go with the Four of Swords for a kind of respite like that. This is very specific, that you've been able to gain a certain level of balance, inner balance. Just like how they often are showing them meditating with the Two of Swords. In this case, you have to have a certain amount of ambidextrousness to be able to orchestrate a certain amount of grace. But in this case, it's very much about the mind. You're being able to juggle the inner states of the mind to be able to gain a peace. So, great focus gets you to a place of achievement that brings peace. So I hope this worked for you. For those who haven't already subscribed, please do subscribe and give me a thumbs up. Till next time, namaste.